Hi everyone, my name is Herkiv and today we'll embark on yet another adventure in hardcore Minecraft. But as per usual, we've added a bit of a twist. In Minecraft, there are a few things that you'll probably have to do at one point or another in your world. Some of those being building, exploring, going up and down your mine, pillaring up to reach a higher up place, etc. And all of those things have something in common, as all of them are very annoying and inconvenient to do if you're not allowed to jump. However, doing things that are tedious, annoying and frustrating is my specialty. By that little intro, I assume that some of you might know where this is going. In today's video, I'm going to attempt to beat Minecraft hardcore without jumping, and as per usual, I'm not going to be using any armor whatsoever, as my life apparently wasn't already hard enough. So sit back, relax, grab some of your favorite prescription medication, and watch me struggle my way through this challenge. I started off by creating our hardcore world, which I named No Jumping / Armor, and jumped straight into the world that was expected to be the most recent cause of the deterioration of my mental health. And once we had entered the world, I was plonked right on top of a tree, which was absolutely perfect. But since paranoia is part of my ever-expanding list of mental health disorders, I went into the options and double-checked that I had successfully handicapped myself in preparation for this next adventure of self-loathing. Some of you might wonder how I intend to beat the game without jumping, and my absolutely brilliant master plan to tackle this challenge was to craft slabs, so that we could go up blocks and play in a somewhat semi-normal way. But before getting too productive, I decided to have a quick scout out of the area in hopes of finding something that can do what my prescription medication is supposed to. And this strategy paid off as we rather miraculously managed to find a shipwreck. So I decided to chop down our first tree and crafted myself a bunch of slabs as well as some doors in hopes of not drowning, as that would be rather inconvenient and almost as embarrassing as my resume. But putting my severely underwhelming list of accomplishments aside, I went on to looting the shipwreck, which yielded a staggering 11 pieces of iron, some iron nuggets as well as some emeralds. I then spent said acquired riches to craft myself a bucket, axe as well as a pickaxe. It was then just a matter of disrespecting Mother Nature, as well as Greta Thunberg, by resorting to the winning concept of deforestation. Once we had properly defiled Mother Nature, I crafted a boat and took to the sea, though I rather quickly decided to abandon that idea and went off by foot, where I accumulated some crusty carcasses of vessels of nutrition. It then turned to nighttime, which was less than optimal, as I didn't have a good way of efficiently retreating, that being in a very courageous manner of course. However, since it had turned rather dark, I managed to spot a ruined portal, where I decided to sleep and check if it had enough lava to make a portal. And by an absolute miracle, the portal was apparently only missing one piece of obsidian, which was absolutely insane. The chest loot was also rather nice, as it had a flint and steel, which was very convenient. So I restored the portal to its former glory, stole the gold blocks and set off once more. But now some of you might be wondering why I decided to leave, as I had all the things I needed for the Nether, and the answer to that question is something I'm rather curious about as well. Shortly after we had set off once more, we managed to spot a village, against which I decided to commit a series of moderately violent burglaries. I also decided to grab as much food on our way there as possible, as I've never had the problem of having too much food. That is, if we don't count the real world, where too much food is partly responsible for the rapid deterioration of my physical health. But anyways, when I made it to the village, I noticed that there was a lava pool right next to it, which was very epic. So I took out the iron golem, as it would almost be rude not to, which I did by utilizing one of the most unexpectedly overpowered items in the game. I then crafted myself a fletching table as well as a stone cutter, so that we could financially exploit the villagers to acquire a bow and arrows, though I quickly realized that I couldn't see any villagers who I could subject to the previously mentioned scam. And after a quick real-life mental breakdown, I found a fair number of villagers who couldn't get to the rest of the village, which I promptly fixed by creating a path. However, as I re-rolled the Fletcher's trades, I remembered that they buy sticks, meaning that the time I spent to acquire a stone cutter was a complete waste of time, as we still had wood left from our recent deforestation project. But with that, I could buy enough arrows to unlock and buy a bow, meaning that we were now very prepared for our Nether adventure. So I used the lava pool that we had spotted earlier to make a portal and went through it. I then found myself in a soul sand valley, which wasn't optimal, as it's prime real estate for both skeletons and moaning clouds. So I started walking in hopes of getting out of it as an attempt to decrease my odds of getting severely demolished, though I immediately ran into another portal which I assumed was linked to the first one we made using the ruined Nether portal. I had absolutely no idea how that portal generated as we never went through it, and I still have absolutely no clue. Even at the time of writing this script, there couldn't have been some random mob either, as the ruined portal was placed on top of the water and it was daytime when we left and unloaded it. And after significantly longer than I would like to admit, I came to the hypothesis that it was an item that went through the portal and thus creating it. However, my level of knowledge of this game is a very accurate representation of my knowledge in general, that level being rather low, so I've decided to leave it and mind my own business so that no one would get hurt. But anyways, traversing through the Soul Sand Valley was significantly more annoying than I thought it would be, as you can apparently not go from regular soul sand onto a half slab that is placed on top of it, as soul sand make you sink down ever so slightly. Even though you only sink downwards by what would seemingly be a completely insignificant distance, you still can't make it on top of a slab, as that would mean that you'd be going up more than half a block. Because of this, my adventure in the Soul Sand Valley was about as pleasant as it is to spill lemon juice on your finger with a paper cut. But rather luckily, as we were about to make it out of the Soul Sand Valley, I managed to spot a Nether fortress after having spent a total of 4 minutes and 37 seconds in the Nether. This was, safe to say, rather surprising, as this game usually treats me rather poorly, but it wouldn't be a proper hardcore challenge without a moaning cloud instigating a ping-pong battle. So I then got on to using a bunch of slabs to bridge over to the fortress, hoping to not get hit off by any more moaning clouds or blazes. I then went on to almost die right after making my way into the fortress, but somehow managed to survive. It was then just a matter of locating a blaze spawner, which took significantly longer than I'd like to admit. And when we did find one, I noticed that it wasn't caged, making the process of killing them significantly more annoying. So I deployed the heroic strategy of standing where I could easily break their line of sight and took out the blazes with my bow to then occasionally run in to collect our precious rods. By doing this, we managed to successfully keep my cheeks from getting severely clapped, meaning that I had finally done something right for once. And after having committed a morally defendable genocide, we had accumulated enough blaze rods to not having to step foot into the Nether again in this video. I then started the surprisingly short walk back to our portal, then began the thrilling and action-packed section of this video, which was to collect and sell clay to in turn get ender pearls. After having gotten our greedy and filthy hands on both enough ender pearls as well as a healthy amount of arrows, I set off to find the stronghold. This process started out like it usually does, but after a while I found myself in a snowy biome, which might be one of my least favourite biomes in the game. However, I then remembered that snowy biomes have ice, meaning that I could reach the speed of sound using my boat. It was in fact so fast that the boat was launched into a block and got stuck. I had absolutely no idea that this was a thing, but I find it rather amusing. Once I had located the stronghold, I marked it with a very gracious cobblestone pillar and walked to the spruce forest right next to it and grabbed some more wood to compensate for our past frivolous expenditures in the form of sticks and a lot of slab placing. And since I'm rather familiar with the concept of compensating, I got it done relatively quickly. I then mined my way down and actually managed to find it on my first try, which definitely came as a surprise, but a very welcome one. I then went on to spend 13 minutes and 28 seconds looking for the portal, which some of you might be thinking is a rather short time. However, that is something that men like me will inform you isn't the case. I then jumped through the portal and found myself in a box, which was rather frustrating, as this meant that I had to mine my way up with unenchanted tools in a very awkward manner, and just as I was about to emerge from the ground like some sort of mentally challenged vole, the dragon decided to throw a ball at the ground in the exact place I was about to emerge from. This marked the start of the exhilarating pastime of staring at some purple particles, hoping that they would stop. But I then remembered that my level of patience is negligible and decided to deploy the previously mentioned vole-inspired strategy of digging my way out. And once that had been masterfully dealt with, I got onto the same old dragon fight we all know and love. However, this dragon fight was significantly more annoying than usual, as the dragon perched for just a few seconds before flying off, so getting showered by the dragon's balls was even more satisfying. It was then just a matter of stealing my murder victim's only offspring and jumping into the portal, officially ending the challenge. So there we have it, I beat Minecraft Hardcore without jumping. I hope you enjoyed the ride as much as I did. Please leave a like and subscribe if you did, and let me know if there are any challenges you would like to see me take on. But anyways, I'll see you in the next one.